Welcome back to the Building Confidence podcast, where I host Louise as a party, share what I've learned through the years, through the tears, so you don't have to. This is episode 136, and we're going to be talking about if you don't ask, the answer is always no. This episode is proudly supported by The Go Company, which is a new partner that we have for the podcast and just Louise's party coaching in general, which is really, really cool. And I'll talk a little bit more about them later on. Actually, no, I'll talk about them now. So I am partnering with The Go Company. The Go Company create period packs that actually help you on site for you having your period in a porta potty. It's created by two amazing electricians, and we're going to have them on in a few weeks, where we're actually going to announce the winner of the giveaway. So the giveaway, me and the Go Company are doing a giveaway where it's an Instagram giveaway. So I'll put the link to the Instagram post that you need to comment and tag people on. You can win a Go pack, so one of their packs to help you when you are on the go and you get your period. And you also get 4 coaching sessions with me. I'm really excited to give these coaching sessions out. I know how valuable they are, and if you've been listening to the podcast, you probably know how valuable the coaching tools are. And then in the sessions, they'll be customized totally to you in those conversations. So I'll link that Instagram post below that you need to comment on. And yes, I hope to see your name in there, and I would love to get the opportunity to coach you, because tying into that, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't put yourself into the competition, you obviously don't have a chance to win the prize. So please comment on that post, find that post, comment on it, enter the giveaway. Super grateful. So if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Now, this gets thrown around in different ways. In the industry, especially as an apprentice, it's like there's also that saying that no question's a silly question. Sometimes I kind of think a silly question might be one that you've asked about 15 times, and if you haven't gotten in, maybe there's something going on there. But also I don't want to use that as shaming if you do need to ask a lot of times to be able to get the information going in. But no question's a silly question. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. Now, there are different ways to ask for things and different things to ask for. So I've got a few other episodes that support this, to give you tools on how to ask for things. So there's the Big Fat Greek Wedding Style, which is episode 130, which is a bit of a different asking kind of style. It's a bit more sneaky to get around difficult people. Episode 9, having difficult conversations. Episode 15, asking for what you need. And episode 25, in reporting harassment, also support this. You never know what somebody is going to say until you ask them. You can assume what they're going to say, which in coaching world, we call it mind reading. So these people actually haven't said this, but you've had the conversation with them 15 times in your head, and it's always probably turned out the way that the worst case scenario. Our brain will always stick to the worst case scenario. But we actually have no idea what they're going to say until we ask them, or until we put ourselves forward for the thing, like entering the giveaway. But anyway, when we are, say, asking for a job, asking for a pay rise, asking for an opportunity, asking to be taught something, asking to not be bullied, which is great that we have to ask for that. But anyway, if you find yourself in that scenario, looking at the difficult conversations one, even I've got a podcast on sexism and unconscious bias, so that'll go into that as well. And also you can read them in the blog too. If you guys didn't know, there's a blog on my website that backs up the podcast episodes, which is really cool. But anyway, if you don't ask, the answer is no. In all of these scenarios, if you don't ask for the pay rise, you're not going to get the pay rise. In the majority, I'd say 90% of the circumstances, you're not just going to get a pay rise just because for pay rise sake. If they can pay you less, they're going to pay you less. That is just, for some reason, how the world works, unfortunately. If someone keeps crossing a boundary with you, if you don't enforce that boundary, if you don't ask them to respect that boundary, they're not going to do it. So you don't give them the opportunity to say yes. If you don't put yourself forward for the job, if you don't ask for the position, people are going to say nothing, which is no, you're not going to get that opportunity. And it can be nerve-wracking. I'm not saying this because it's easy. I'm saying this because it's necessary, and I feel like I say that a few times. But I don't want to be like, oh yeah, just ask. It's so easy. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's super nerve-wracking. But one thing that helps me get through this is, I kind of say there's depending on the scenario, there's 3 kind of options that can happen. They can be no, they can be yes, and they can be a middle ground. So it can be like, hey, can I have this job opportunity? Like, I really want to go for this role. So they can say no. They can say, actually, someone's going on annual leave for like 3 weeks. We need someone to fill in. Would you like to fill in? That's like an in-between. And there's like, yes, there's another opening over here or something. Or yes, you can go straight for this job, or we're job sharing it or something. There's kind of 3 main areas. There's like yes, no, and middle ground. When you're asking for a pay rise, there is yes, no, and okay, instead of 10 grand, we can give you 5 grand. Middle ground. And when you are getting in a bullying situation, which hopefully they fix the issue. Like, I say this as someone, I want the opportunity, like the outcome for it to be like, absolutely, you're not going to be bullied anymore. But for realism's sake, when you are asking someone, like setting a boundary or saying, hey, don't say this comment, hey, please don't do this, they're not going to do it. They might tweak their behavior slightly and it might get a little bit better. And there's, oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was impacting you that much. But even in the bullying situation, the no is even a good outcome because you have asked, you have set that boundary. And for me, kind of in my mind, when I have this conversation, like, what is bullying? Because, banter, bullying, jokes, blah, 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 blah. If you tell someone this behavior is not okay and it really impacts me, then they are actively making a decision to bother you. And I feel like if you want a definite, what is bullying? That is my like definite. You've said, hey, please don't do this. And it's a reasonable request. They're doing something unnecessary that bothers you. They keep doing it, knowing that it bothers you and knowing that it has a negative impact on you. They are bullying you. Now, why is this a good outcome? Because we can take this to HR or Fair Work. It gives us a nice little package to go forth with. Which is shit, because I wish you didn't have to do that. I wish people just respected each other and were good people. But anyway. But if you didn't have that conversation, you wouldn't have that ground to stand on. And unfortunately, when you're going through HR, like I go in the reporting harassment episode, in episode 25, I go into this pretty deeply. Going into HR is a mixed bag as well. So even with that, like, you don't know the outcome of that situation. You don't know what it's going to be at all. But if you don't ask, if you don't set the boundary, if you don't put that request in, the answer will be no. You won't have that to go forward with. And like, even with that, like going into the partnership that I have with Diesel Dirt and Turf Expo, which is on in April, and I just recorded an episode with them before this, which will be coming out the next week. If you don't put yourself in that position where you say you go to the expo and you ask a job, like a company, hey, is there any job opportunities available here? They can say yes, they can say no, but then probably what will happen in that circumstance is like, actually, I'm not the right person to talk to, here is the person to talk to. And then you ask that person, the recruiter, because at the expo, the majority of people's roles, I believe, will be sales. So they will be able to put you into contact with their HR recruiter and that kind of thing for that. But if you don't ask, the answer is no. If you don't put yourself forward for the award, for the scholarship, for the job, the answer is no straight away. And you never know. Now I am behind the scenes in some of these award schemes. Sometimes awards and scholarships have hundreds of people sign up for them, and sometimes they have 1 or 2. So you might have a 50% chance or 100% chance in getting that award or scholarship. You might have a 1 in 100 chance. But even that, in the 1 in 100 thing, one person is going to get it. And it's not going to be you if you don't put your name forward. All right. I've got an episode on rejection fatigue. I forgot to write this in here. But when you're getting a lot of no's, if you are in that job searching kind of thing and you are getting a lot of no's, rejection fatigue is real. And that is okay if you need to take a rest. As long as you keep on going. As long as you rest, you go, okay, new plan of attack. In the looking for a job space, looking for a job is a job in itself. That's how I like to think about it. On average, for a male, it typically takes them 14 days to get an apprenticeship, and it takes a female over 100 days. There is some research on that. I don't know the research quote exactly. But you can look up those numbers that has been researched. And in there, rejection fatigue is real. And I understand if you have asked and asked and asked, you might be pretty exhausted. But if you don't ask again, the answer is still going to be no. If you don't ask the next person, you might get a change in management, or you might find somebody else to ask. You want to make sure that you do ask. You put yourself out there to ask. All right, you put yourself out there for that opportunity to go onto that engine rebuild, to, put the windows up for the first time, to lay the different types of bricks, to lay the hard corner of the bricks, to do the difficult part of the landscaping. I'm trying to think of a few trades. To do the tricky in the wall plumbing, whatever it might be. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if you ask and you get the opportunity, it's okay if you've never done that before too, because then it gives you the opportunity to practice. And that's the only way that we learn, is we get in, we get hands-on, and we go for it. All right. So I can keep going on about this for ages and try and give as many examples as I can. But realistically, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And it's okay if you're nervous to ask. I say this because it's necessary, not because it's easy. All right? There are ways to make it easier for yourself. The most common one is practice, practice, and practice. All right? Because then you'll be able to see how your brain works and put in supportive thoughts for you. If you are, say, going to go to the Diesel Dirt and Turf Expo and ask and ask and ask there, I would recommend resting before and after, because that can take a lot of energy. Buy yourself a little treat. Make sure you stay hydrated. Sometimes you're just a complicated plant with feelings, and that's okay. When you are asking a lot, it can be exhausting. If you have been asking a lot and you've been getting no's as the answer, that can be exhausting too. You've got to make sure you look after yourself. All right? If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if you don't put yourself forward, you're never going to get that opportunity. Like with the giveaway with the Go Company. If you think coaching with me would be pretty cool and you really could use it at the moment, please put your name in the bag. I would love to see your name there. I would love to have the opportunity to coach you if you believe that my coaching is what you need right now and you might not be able to afford it out of pocket. Please enter that giveaway. I would love to support you. And even if you are ready and you have the financials to be able to work with me directly, please also reach out. I would love the opportunity to support you. If you haven't listened to one of these episodes before, this podcast before, I'm a heavy diesel mechanic by trade, and I'm also a certified life coach, and my specialty is helping tradeswomen overcome sexism, unconscious bias, bullying, to gain confidence, to have less anxiety. They're the things that I work on. Reduce burnout, so many different things. Pretty much anything that can impact a tradeswoman, I'm open to helping you with. I've worked on most scenarios, but if I haven't worked on a scenario that you're in, I'm more than happy to support you as best I can for that and help you make the decisions that support you the most. Alrighty, I'm getting to that rambling stage. But anyway, please check out the Go Company. I'll put the link to the giveaway in the description, and have an amazing week, guys. Remember, if you don't believe in yourself right now, please borrow my belief in you. I know you can do anything that you put your mind to. You might need to have a nap or a snack first, but I know you can do it. I will see you next episode.